Yo, 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 yo. Yeah. Top of the evening, beloveds. Top of the evening. How you doing out there today? Let me adjust this a little bit. Yo, 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 yo. Okay, sound check, sound check. How am I sounding out there? Let's get this thing right. Yeah. Make sure we on point. Okay, right where we want it. The levels are right. Check my levels. Check 1 2 1 2. Who is this? It is your boy, Johnny Reed from Respectfully Great is in the building. Top of the evening. Abundance now. Peace and love. Ellie in the building. Peace and love. Trini in the building. Peace and love. Tatum in the building. What's up, loved ones? It's a beautiful day. I'm super pumped, super static. Today's a wonderful day, wonderful experience. Here, let me move this. Got to get comfortable. Yeah. Today's a wonderful day for the Respectfully Great podcast, and we got so much in store, so much impact, and I'm super blessed to be here live in real time, experiencing this moment with you, loved ones, because it's important to me to make sure that we give those flowers in real time and let people know that tomorrow is not promised, so we embrace the moments. Yes, today is super dope. We titled this episode "Doing Nothing," right? The power of doing nothing on purpose is actually the title. Doing nothing on purpose. I know it sounds super interesting, super like, well, how can we be productive if we're not doing anything and doing nothing? That's the catch 22. This is something that we want to expound on, something we want to delve right into, because a lot of times we equate doing nothing as a bad thing. That's just the caveat. Let me take a sip of this good old drink. And then we get right into the topic. I try to be a little bit more punctual as we go further. There's so many things that I learned along the journey. And let me take a quick sip. Ain't nothing like it. Shout out to my brother Jay. Um, just finishing up the fast. Me and my brother last weekend, Lizzie. We did our 1 2 thing, 3-day fast, monthly fast, tapped in. I just want to give the highlight to that moment because health and wellness is a primary thing in our community. We always want to be ahead of the curve instead of experiencing some of the hardships on the back end. And I know a lot of times we get ourselves in uncomfortable situations when we experience some of these things. And I want to be able to talk about these things in advance, because the more we be able to be prepared, that will give us the leverage. I remember when the time when I was away from home, right? Uh Behind the wall, there was an older gentleman. He always used to say to me, proper preparation prevents poor performance. And we used to play chess together. And he always used to tell me, he said, young buck, he used to tell me, he said, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So I heard this over the years. And then I use it often now because it's a constant reminder of if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And these are some of the things that I like to take with me throughout my day in, day out, my journey, my experiences. And I love to pass these things along because these are some of the tools that help me along my journey. And I want to be able to give that to whoever I come in contact with, whether it's utilized, whether it's something that they never heard or heard continuously. Sometimes it's not about having the new information. It's about the information that we already have being reinforced. So you utilizing it, doing it every day. Christopher Williamson always says, repeated recall for repeated exposure, meaning that when we put things into practice, is actually where we get the growth from. A lot of times we hear things and see things and we equate that to actual learning. And to a degree, coming up with the information or seeing it for the first time or hearing it, that's a good thing. But putting these things into action is where it actually starts to stick. Right. So my thing is, when I hear things, when I see things, I love to put these things into practice, because it gives me the leverage of saying, okay, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing, and I'll be able to reinforce the behavior, because a lot of times it's the behavior that keeps us stuck. It's not about it's not so much about just the information all the time. It's about, okay, what type of action, what type of behavior are you carrying out in order to get you to and from? So a lot of times we be stuck in our own spaces, in our own minds and our own heads, and we feel like, you know what, I can't be told anything. I want to do what I want when I want. And sometimes those are the drawbacks to where we trying to go and who we trying to affect in our lives for the growth and growth and development aspect. So let's kick this thing off with the proper introduction about what we're going to discuss as of today. I'm trying new things out, right? And I love to give these backstories to some of these things, so you can have an understanding of why I do what I do. Because I feel like me just doing the thing, a lot of times we got to sift through a lot of things. So when we learn, a lot of times nobody give us just the regular blueprint in order to know how to do things or why we doing things. And I find that when you give explanation on how and why you do things, it brings a whole new meaning to why you need to do what you need to do, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for someone else. I learned this dealing with a lot of my nieces, nephews, and children's, etc. I learned that when I tell them things, right? Hey, do X, Y, and Z. Here's why. The here's why aspect is so impactful because it lets them know that, hey, I'm not doing this just because you said to do it. I'm doing this because there's a reason behind me doing making my bed in the morning. There's a reason why you telling me to do this. You picking up good habits in the sense of, okay, being more neat, right? You being more organized. It comes to be, hey, if you be able to do these things in the morning, it may lead to be more punctual when you need to go to an event or do a thing. Um, it shows that you care about your presentation, cares about your hygiene. All of these things reflect of doing one simple task of just making your bed, right? So when I explain these things about how I come to be and how I come to do some of the things that I do, it's a journey, it's a continuum, right? And I'm learning throughout my journey from reading some of the books, some of the literature, putting some of these things into practice from what I learned from other people, and I try them in real time. So what I've learned over a period of time is that when we talk about some of the things we want to expand about in video, we want to give a we want to have a prequel in a sense, right? Sometimes when before you see the actual movie in the theater, you get the trailer. So they show you all of the highlights. They show you, hey, Jason coming down with the chainsaw, etc. You see it's it's a triumph and victory movie. You see the hardship, and then you see somebody victorious holding up a trophy or crown or whatnot, and you're like, wow, this movie seems super entertaining. Or you see an action movie playing out where you see an individual driving a fast car or something like the transporter or something like that, and you're like, whoa, this movie is going to be the highlight. So what I'm learning about doing video, right, and learning about podcasting, right, here is my 23rd episode, super static, super pumped. Let's give a round of applause. Round of applause for the 23rd episode. Um, very early on, but it's going to be a wonderful journey. And as my journey, I like to document the process, which we're doing right now. And also, we can see the transformation, we can see the growth, we can see how things work out in real time when some things have great highlights, some things we can work out where we have some pitfalls, we can pivot, we can have so much we can learn and grow from when we have the data. So one of the things that I've experienced and learned as of right now to starting video is giving some layout on some type of format to what's to be expected throughout the episodes, right? Although we don't have sometimes when you watch things, you actually have to go through the whole uh you have to go through the whole process of watching hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, etc., to get the gist. And I think that's one of the things where I find super intriguing because there's so many hidden gems that I love to discover along me watching a video or some type of biography or a biopic or whatnot. But what I learned about this portion right now, what I'm about to display, is from somebody that's very, very prevalent in the um, business world, content creation world, etc. So what he shared was that when you talking about video, what's up, Rock? What's up, loved one? When we talking about video, when we talking about how we grab attention and how we want to have longer retention rates, he said there's 5 things that you want to highlight in the very beginning of your videos. Now, I skipped out on it because I had a lot of jargon that I displayed within my first few minutes about everything else. So this is something that I'm gonna learn. Just cut to the chase on the next video, but I'm still going to do it because This is part of the trial and error and the learning and growing, the repeated recall, the repeated exposure, taking the action. So here it is. You want to display about um, the plan, the promise, pain points, the proof, and the picture. You want to highlight some of these things within the first 2 minutes of displaying the video, letting people know, hey, this is what the video is going to entail. So what I mustered up, I'm gonna display it right now that highlight some of these pain points and these components in order to give a good feel on what we're going to cover throughout this video. So here it is. So I do these things in real time because I love to be a practitioner of somebody that does things in real time and be somebody of my own word. My word is my bond, and be able to express that of doing the thing. Because I know a lot of us talk, me, one of those individuals that talk, and there was a point in time in my life all I did was talk and showed very little action. So being a person of action and being a person of their word, here it is. So let me get to the portion of where we're going to break this thing down. So here it is. Have you ever felt stuck in that uncomfortable silence, staring at the wall, itching to grab your phone just to feel something? We call that boredom. And most of us treat it like it's a curse. But what if I told you that boredom isn't the problem? It's the portal. Studies show that boredom activates the same parts of the brain that spark creativity and deep self reflection. Some of the greatest inventions, ideas, and personal breakthroughs didn't come from chaos, they came from stillness. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to stop running from boredom and start using it. I'll walk you through the simple framework, one that can turn your dullest moments into one of the most defining ones. Because the truth is, boredom isn't dead. It's the it's the dead end. It's read that. Let me boredom because the truth is boredom isn't dead. It's divine intervention. And what you do with it will determine what's next for your life. That's what we're going to discover today. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Let's have some enlightenment. Where we go? The chimes. Aha moments, right? So what I learned to do, what I'm going to do continuously is throughout the beginning of some of my episodes, I want to give some type of layout about what we're going to discover and how we can go from point A to point B and actually cover and encompass the whole mission to be something of value at the end. We have a premise, we have a point we're trying to get across, we have some of the ups, the downs, etc., and we will get to that point by the end, and we want to be able to stay on task. So coming up with some format. I know a lot of times, Jeff, what's up, loved one? I know a lot of times that the guards just be coming from the hip, shooting from the hip, speaking with some of my minds. I feel like it's a beautiful thing when you could just tell the truth on how you feel, because you get a real authentic feel. Yes, sir. Big love. Big love. That's my brother right there. And let me just cut this really quick before I start jumping into that. My brother Jeff, he's super, super profound. Keynote speaker, TED Talk, motivational blog posts is over 100K, social media. I want my brother to come up. I ran into my brother at the grocery store. And my brother said, yo, listen, anytime you need me up there, I am there. And he already knew where I was coming from. I said, you know what? Before I want to bring you on the platform, and I know that you're willing to help me in any way that you can, I want to be able to get my layups in. So my brother said, I already know that. He told me that. He said, you already know why. He said, you want to get your jump shot up. You want to be able to be in the gym long enough, and so you be a little more seasoned. I said, absolutely. My brother been doing this for years, and I'm just coming new into the space. So when I see these things and I see my brothers that are doing their thing and been doing it, he said, one thing I'm gonna tell you, to be flat honest, just keep going. Keep going. It's gonna be one long, grueling journey, but in the end, it's gonna be all well worth it. And I want to say in real time, I love you and I appreciate those words of wisdom and making sure that, hey, I got the end game. The end game is just not quitting. That's the end game. The end game is being able to show up and not quitting. So I appreciate you just for giving me that words of encouragement and let me know that you see me out here wanting to be a better individual and working towards that, and giving me the leverage of saying, hey, anytime you need me, I will be there. Just give me a phone call. We work something out. And I'm gonna show up. And those are the things where I feel are well worth just coming to this point. Only 20 episodes in, 23rd episode, and those are the things that make me feel like, yo, you know what? There's nothing that's gonna be able to stop this train. And that's what I say internally. You feel me? My brother said, keep going. Absolutely. You're worth the effort. Absolutely. Facts, brother. Big Fendi. That's what it is. Love you unconditionally, family. And you already know what it is, man. We going up, man. We going up. Going up. I'm super pumped. Let's fucking go. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. So that's the premise of the beginning. So just being a practitioner of things that I learned and putting them into real practice in real time. So when we talk about boredom, just curiosity, who here has ever been bored at any point in their time in their life? You can write it in the chat. Let me know in the chat. You can raise the hands. You can do something. If I can send an emoji out, let me see if I can send an emoji out in the chat. Let me see. If I send some emojis out in the chat. I'm sending some fires. Send some fires from the God. Yes. I have been one of those individuals that found myself at various times being very, very bored. I didn't understand it. Jeff said he have. So when we found ourselves just being bored, right? What are some of the things that we find ourselves doing out of boredom? Me, I love clothing. Your boy love to shop. I get very bored. Your boy like to go on some of the finest sites like respectfullygreat.com, and I go shop and buy the finest merch out there on the market. I go to respectfullygreat.com and cop them new shirts and them hoodies and them socks, them enamel pins, all that drip from respectfullygreat.com is where I go when I get bored. Find myself shopping. Beautiful thing. Supporting the brand. Feeling like, this is worthy of it. Right? I feel my money's well spent. Beautiful thing. But let's hear who says. Lizzie says, fine doing things we shouldn't be doing. I understand it. That's one of the things I found myself doing, just being bored. How about another? How about grabbing my phone and it's just scrolling for half an hour, turned into an hour, maybe even two? Where has that time went? Elizabeth says, I find myself doing things I shouldn't be doing. Left a lot of typo in the first one. It's all good. Light work. That's what we do. We find ourselves doing some of the things that we normally wouldn't do, or some of the things that enable us, right? That gives us comfort in the poor habits. We are creatures of habit. Sometimes we do things unconsciously, right? We just doing things with our subconscious. Our bodies is just moving. You wake up in the morning, and before you're able to, open your eyes, the first thing you feeling around for is the phone. Or you wake up in the middle of the night, or you're just doing something and just twiddling your thumbs and playing with your hair, and all of a sudden you're grabbing the phone or the computer or doing something other than, right? Out of boredom. It says, Miss Scroll Queen, laugh out loud. Absolutely. Lizzie is Miss Scroll Queen. Saucy J, sub love one in the building. Yes. Jeff says, I'm usually feeding the weakest parts of me because in that moment, I forget the mission. Ooh. Ooh. Yes, yes, yes. We identify what that looks like. He said, I'm usually feeding the weakest parts of me because in that moment, I forget the mission. Oh, we are mission-driven people. We are purpose-driven people. We have a place we are trying to go people. What happens is we get detoured and we have a pit stop and there's a roadblock and something that we're supposed to be doing gets halted. it gets stopped. There's a barricade, and then our distractions go elsewhere. My brother says, "Oh shit, brother, I ain't even know you had sound effects." I'm Big 50. I got the Rodecaster. You know what's funny with the Rodecaster, right? 2 weeks ago, I'm supposed to go. I was supposed to do my regular thing, do our regular podcast. My Rodecaster had a malfunction. So I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? End up getting on the computer, blah, 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 blah. Had a warranty, 2-year warranty on it. Shot back to Best Buy, back at it. Things work in divine ways. A lot of times we think some mishaps are like the end of the world, but there was a word that I came across not too long ago that I understood the meaning. Heard the word all the time, and I'm like, okay, I don't know the meaning of it, but I end up listening to the meaning and looking up the word and started using the word. The word was called serendipity. So serendipity was or is the definition is that when there's a happenstance or something that happens by chance, something that just happened, just you seem like, oh man, this has just happened out of nowhere. And long story short, a misfortune, ideally, you would think that, hey, something just happened that, threw me way off whack. And it seems like it's a negative. But in the long run, it turns out to be the biggest blessing or positive in your life. So with the Rodecaster situation, um, I was trying to upload different sound effects. I end up deleting majority of the sound effects. And I'm like, how do I replace them? So I was asking some of the tech people, and they were saying, those are stock. So the stock ones you can't replace, but I can go to other websites that have free downloads like Epic Sounds. So I can go to Epic Sounds and I could grab them, and I could re-upload whatever sounds I could find on there. So I'm like, man, there's some of the sounds that I wanted, the stock ones I wanted to keep, Slim Sub-Level one. I wanted to keep those things. So I'm like, something ain't right. Long story short, the Rodecaster ended up malfunctioning, and I got a chance to go send it back, get a brand new one with all of the stock sounds. I was able to re-upload some of the new because I was ended up finding out different things about them. Switched the colors up, got real funky with it, and then we back at it. More of the story is sometimes things happen for our best and greater good, unbeknownst to ourselves. It looks like things are happening for chaotic reasons and we don't understand why. But in the long run, it benefits us from the things that we can learn and grow through, right? We can learn and grow through. Slim, this week we have the community barbecue. Big shout out. This Saturday is going to be pandemonium. You can go donate. You can go hit the Cash App, hit the whatever you can do. Come out, support, show your love for community functions in the community. It's a beautiful thing when I see my brother Slim, my brother Lon putting together a beautiful thing for the community. It shows that you have. Oh no, next weekend. Nah, next weekend. Hold up. Here's the what's the other sound? What's the no, not that one. Where's the record at? Hold up. Get the keyboard right. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Read. We said what? Out of pocket. The it's actually the 16th. So the 16th at Morgan's Park is going down. Going to be family oriented environment, friends, games, community, just an enjoyment and a pleasurable experience to where you could come out and enjoy yourself. So primarily it's about, the giving aspect. It's about showing people that, hey, we care about the loved ones in our community. We care about our children. We care about our elders. We care about our peers. It's all about, paying things forward. There's people that looked out for us in our community. We remember when the Boys and Girls Club provided a wonderful experience for us coming up. When you was out of pocket, down say, take the day with no pay. You out of pocket, down would see you out of there. Down would see you out of there. But ultimately provided Christopher Morley's going swimming, barbecues, talent shows, basketball game tournaments, playing international people from Germany, Europe. Oh man, it was profound experiences, and I feel like this is one of the steps that we take in our community from being people up under that tutelage and shown some of these ways of how to give back. This is a form of giving back, and this is what we do when you gain some level of when you get influenced and we learn from other people it rubs off on you, and then you be able to go out there and impact and try to help and influence and motivate other people that surround you and get motivated during the process, because people show up in real time and let you know that, hey, you're doing a wonderful job out there, and continue to do what you do, because whether whether you get the pat on the back initially, whether people support, whether people don't support, at the end of the day, you still get recognized for oneself of the work that you put in, because at the end of the day, that's where all of the value lies at. You can validate yourself for the work that you put in, because you know the time, the work, the sacrifices that you put up with. And that's with every individual. We don't want to get discouraged along our journey. So sometimes it can be a rough road. So like I was telling you, when my brother Jeff told me, listen, don't worry about it. It's gonna be a grueling one. It's gonna be very rewarding in the end. And during the process, you're gonna learn so much about you during it that it's going to be priceless. And this is what I'm talking about. Along all of our journeys, we're going to come up against some things that feel, like tremendous hardships. And it's like, how do I ever get through this? How do I overcome this type of turmoil that I'm experiencing? All of it is perspective anyway. It's only a mental thing. But ideally, we're just saying that when I experience some of these things, how do I get through it? And these are the things, what's up, Trace? These are some of the things that I want to bring to the forefront to let all of us know that we all go through it on various levels. It may not be entrepreneurship. It may be working at the job, at your regular job. It may be taking care of children. It may be loving, trying to make sure that our parents are situated. It may be looking out for a friend or a family member. It's about sometimes maybe just trying to open up a door that never been opened before. These things occur, and there's certain levels of hardships that we're going to experience. But at the end of the day, it's not really about um it's not about the initial reward. The journey is what you really want to encapsulate and hold near and dear, because there're going to be so many things that you're going to experience and see from different angles that you never saw before. So that's the beauty of going through unfamiliar territory. That's the beauty of showing up in areas where, uncharted territory, where you like, why should I get up at 12 o'clock at night? Like the other day, right? Um, I'm in the process of reading this book called the YouTube Formula. I've shown it last time, but here's the book, just in real time, right? So I'm in the process of reading the book. I'm in the bed chilling, and I'm like, man, I didn't do the required reading that I needed to do. So I wake up in the morning. Shorty was like, I wake up maybe like at, I think it was like 4:30 in the morning, and I'm wired. So I'm like, man, I feel good. I don't think I should go right back to bed and lay down. So I end up going to the living room, turn on the light, started reading the book. And what I'm saying is that there going to be some moments where nobody sees, like the work that you do now, the conversations that you have with other personnel, the thoughts that you have when you're in silence. This is primarily why we talked about this live today. We're talking about boredom. There's some very special moments that happens when there is silence and you by yourself. You'll start to learn things about yourself that you never experienced before. And you like, man, I knew this person. I thought I knew this person my whole life, which is me. I thought I knew everything about me my whole life. But I never got silent before. I never I never took the time out to not be bored. Because when I got bored, the first thing I reached for was the phone. I found something to try to replace the boredom. So I kept trying to be busy doing nothing sometimes, right? But I found out that when you start to become bored, that's really a transformational moment. It's really a portal that you're going to experience if you start to utilize it as such. What I mean is that in those bored moments, there's some real creative things that happens in stillness and in silence. Let me give you an example. Steve Jobs, we all know the big guy at Apple, right? Long gone. Impact is everlasting. You see right now, Apple products, Android. That's what they talk about. Two major products. Apple, Android, Apple, Android. But the innovation of his thoughts and what he did uh, in silence and stillness is what created some of those special moments of how he thought about things. And he has stated um, something along the lines of, it's in the stillness where creativity flourishes, something along those lines. He has stated that. Also, there was a gentleman that was a chemist. I can't think of his name verbatim, but the guy that made the post-its, the post-it notes, these little pads right here, right? Um, Yes, these little pads, Jeff says, you answered the call, like you said, during those hours. There are no distractions. Our attention is pure and everything feels possible. Big Fendi. Let me read that one more time. He said, you answered the call, like you said, during those hours. There are no distractions. Our attention is pure and everything feels possible. Mm-hmm. Talk about it. Absolutely, loved one. Shout, what's up, family? Footable car rentals in the building. What's up, loved one? Peace, God. Absolutely. Yes, it is. It's those callings. It's those moments where we feel like our back is against the wall. We going to fight. Funny, right? I'm talking to my cousin Black today and yesterday. He's doing some profound and wonderful things. And his experience with his business, affordable car rentals, go get your lowest, greatest rates at affordable car rentals, easy access. Some of these other big car rental services, they don't provide the service that you get at affordable car rentals. Listen, tapping my brother, affordable car rentals. What he was talking about, he experienced something as of yesterday to where he felt like, hey, my back was against the wall. I couldn't even sleep. There was a situation where he thought was going to work out in his favor, right? Because what he did was he said, you know what? I don't assign a level of difficulty to the things that I love to do in my life, right? Quote from Myron Golden. He says, I do not assign a level of difficulty to the things that I want to bring into my life. So he always thinks of the impossible to me, right? We say it's impossible because sometimes he like, yo, where that plane land at? I could go fly the plane. Never took pilot license and nothing. You tell him today, he says he can fly the plane, never flown a plane in his life, but he feels he can do it. So yesterday, there was a situation where his back was against the wall and not defeated, but had to go through a storm. Call me back today, victorious. Yesterday, fighting against the wind and the storm, the tornado. Today, victorious. What I'm saying is that serendipity thing. A lot of times, certain things happen in our lives to where we feel like, hey, this may not work out in my favor. This is something that, I may not see what the outcome can be other than turmoil. This right here just look like, chaos. It's chaotic. This is a chaotic moment. I don't know what's going to come of it. And then today it was a W that came from that hardship the day before. We have these cycles day in, day out. We have some of these distractions day in, day out. We are placed in certain environments, time, place, space at various times that may look like a distraction. But what if we just owned in the moment and say, you know what? Hey, there's opportunity right now. There is something that I can make of this moment. Although I don't see what it can be or potentially be in the near future, there's something that's curating. There's something that's brewing at this very moment that I can identify with, or I may not identify with, but I trust the process. There's something good going to come of it. Even though it's my back against the wall, and I can't possibly see it at the moment, but it's understood that, hey, even if I don't get nothing initially, there's going to be a lesson learned of what to do or what not to do for the next go round. This is what I'm talking about when these moments happen, when we come into those spaces of boredom, right? There are no distractions, like my brother Jeff said. There are no distractions. Our attentions are pure. Our attention is pure. Everything feels possible. There's no assigned level of difficulty to anything that we can do. Everything comes from a thought. So what happens when we have these boredom moments and then we occupy that special time to make transformation, to make creativity, to go into that other portal for creation, for things to be created? What happens when we tap into somebody else's algorithm that doesn't feed that idle time, that boredom space for your creativity? Those moments, when we don't harness and grab those moments by the bullhorns, what happens? What do we do in those spaces? It's like, okay, the creativeness is bypassed, and it's sucked up by somebody else's algorithm, or the algorithm that you created with with oneself, that enable us to be, caught up in the whirlwind of just, mental masturbation. That's what happens at times when we just caught up in some of the worldly things and not sitting in stillness, sitting with oneself, taking that time out to be creative. I learned that being still is something that I started to pay close attention to when I experienced being away and I was all by myself. I started to find more of myself, things that I never knew that existed about me. Of course, when we grow up in our areas, in our hometowns, and in our spaces, we get everybody builds up a character, persona, personality, traits, things we get identified by, right? Some could be associated to some of the sports we played. Some could be associated to the job that we had. Some of those can be associated to the friends that we carried out. Some things could be some of the work that we did in school or scholastic. Some of these things we just attach to or assign to labels that get put on us for good, bad, or indifferent reasons. And sometimes we tend to live that out throughout the rest of our lives. And then we never really get a chance to figure out who we are, what we are from our own thoughts and our own perspectives, because we was always labeled by something, place, or environment. So what I started to discover by being still, being in silence, I had to start getting more familiar with who that person inside was. Those boring moments when I felt like, what should I do? It forced myself to think. It forced me to think. And when I had the opportunity to when I had the opportunity to think, I started to connect some of these dots. I started to think a little bit deeper about who I am, what I am. I actually wrote a poem. I'm gonna share it one day too. I wrote this poem when I was behind the wall, and it all was encouraged from a book called "As a Man Thinketh" by um uh 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 uh, uh, James, not James Allen. Uh, man, As a Man Thinketh. You can look up the book. It's called As a Man Thinketh. Read the book. I was taking some course in there, and we were just going through like trying to tap into our emotions, and I did poetry, so I wrote a poem, and it was called Who Are You? And I'm gonna share it. But long story short, at that very moment, I got a chance to really. That was one of the purest moments of my life, and a very pivotal moment, because I detached myself from all of the labels in that very moment, and I'm like, one of the portions I said, "Who are you? Where are you? Who are you? Where are you?" Ah, man, I'm gonna share it because I have it. But ultimately, it was just a moment that I felt I grew through, and I learned so much about me. And I know that as we go through our journeys, wherever we trying to go, we will learn so much by being in some quiet environment. Some similar to meditation, right? Taking 5 minutes out of the day, 10 minutes out of the day, and just sit in total silence. And then just let your mind wander. Sometimes they got different forms of meditation. You can have concentrated meditation. You got meditation with music, no music. You can focus on a particular thing. What I initially started to do was just sit down and just see where my mind took me. And I know a lot of times it could be a fearful thing, because a lot of um, people are just dealing with different levels of issues in their own lives, and it's a very hard thing to do, is sit with yourself, because a lot of times what's going to happen is that you have to face self, and that could be one of the things where it gets difficult, because we are dealing with some people dealing with levels of trauma, insecurities, some level of judgment. We are just dealing with life, and then we get the chance to say, you know what, how did I carry out that conversation with such and such today? Am I a good sibling? Am I a good parent? Am I a good coworker? Am I a good businessman? Am I a good employee? Am I a good boss? Am I a good X, Y, and Z? So some of these things you're going to have to sit with and you don't have to say the right thing in the moment, because a lot of times we have automated responses. So when people say things to us, people say, how you doing today? Oh, today was great, without actually say, well, how? What makes your day great? You ask another question, follow-up question, then the person is forced to think. A lot of times when people say hi, the initial response will be, the automated response will be, hi, how you doing? Good, good, good. It's automated. It's really no thought into it. So when you ask the follow-up question, well, what makes your day good? Or what makes your day bad? Or what makes it X, Y, and Z? It forces you to think. And that's what happens when you start to be in that space alone, that meditation, that meditative state. You start to think. And what you start to discover is some things that you may be familiar with, some things you may not be familiar with, some new profound thoughts, creativity. And over time, you start to be more comfortable. What happens when you start to be in that space with stillness? You start to build up levels of trust. Trust in who? Oneself. So some of the barriers that we always had up, right? That we put up that wall and we don't want to let people impede, because we felt, we got to protect oneself. We don't want to get hurt. There's some people out there that looking to, do some harmful things to people. We have been scorned in one form or another. We have experienced some things where people just, um, misled us down some of these paths, and we don't know where to turn. When you start sitting in that silence, bro, you're killing it. And my brother, Jeff, you already know, loved one. It's we it this space allows me to be free of thought, and we share these moments with one another, and I watch and I study you, and I watch the loved ones around, and I'm like, it's so pure and authentic. Like, you always been who you are, and that's one of the things that, like, we all like your person. Yeah, I got I got some. So when we have our sit down, I wrote down some notes, and I'm like, if I were to compare, if I were to compare you to someone else, right? In general, the first person that came to my mind was The Rock, right? Dwayne Johnson, right? And I'm like, the reason being is because you have a aura and the energy that's like bigger than life, and you always had that, like throughout. I mean, through our experience in high school, out of high school, like, you always just had this aura that's just been bigger than life, and that's something that's super super attractive and motivating. And James Allen, that's the book, James Allen, about As a Man Thinketh. But Jeff, that's what I thought of, and I said Dwayne Johnson. I said The Rock. It's like, you remind me of him in so many forms and fashions of just when I see him, it's like there's nothing. It's like The Rock could do anything he want to do. He can run for president. He could be this. He could anything he want to do. He can do, because his character speaks volumes to all people. And you got that characteristic that I admire, that I look up to, that I want to keep adding to my own, bag of tricks, in order to develop my skill set in the area to where I can feel like that when I come in contact with my loved ones as well. So it makes me think about, how do I show up? I want to be able to show up the best version of myself, and show up, pure in those moments, like you said, like you highlighted, like being pure. And that's one of the things that I love to always embody. And you is a constant reminder of, yo, the bar is here, bro. You gotta work, because there's moments where we may feel like we don't want to show up like that, right? And when I think of personnel like you, and I think of characteristic, and I say, okay, yeah, there of course we all gonna have our down moments, but when you show up to do a service, to do a job, you got to be able to show up like that, because that's the motivator. That's you letting people know, listen, it's all about the perspective. You can be anything you want to be. You design the purpose. People, we all think that, like, okay, everybody's just given their purpose. No, you can design your own purpose, and you use a constant reminder, like whatever you desire to get around, or just next to, you just make that thing, glow. That's how I just feel. I feel like everything you touch should start to glow, and I know that that's one of the things I just feel when I see your name and hear your voice and just watch what you do on the media. You impact that way, and it's not a coincidence why people are so attracted to who you are. You see it. It's a reflection of just who you are, and as a person. And those are the things that I would love to just acquire in my own space and be able to do with along my journey and just learn. And that's the beauty of just us learning from one another. That's how we start to get from point A to point B. Those spaces, those times where we be able to be creative in those spaces, be able to attach and associate. I was watching something with Alex Hormozy. He said is a lot of times it's not about um who we around, it's about who we compare ourselves to. And I'm like, think about it, think about it. I said, who you compare yourself to? I'm like, oh, that's big. Because a lot of times we feel like we can't get out of our own space. Sometimes we in dire positions as far as like environment. Say we ain't just in a poverty-stricken environment. Just saying ideally, because there are people in our spaces that we see that have your own experience or whatnot. There are people just in dire positions, whether that is mentally in their own minds, whether it's environmental, whether it's associated through some type of labels that were put on you by whoever that are not favorable to you. And it's like this wall. So how do we get out of that? How do we break that? How do we break out of those things? And those are some of the things I feel like, okay, I get it. It's about, okay, regardless of where I'm at right now, if I compare myself to be someone that has forever glowing light, now I can embody that mindset and I can start acting and carrying out my behavior in a such matter. You feel me? So that's just some of the things that come to mind when we're talking about um those spaces of quietness, stillness. I was watching another gentleman. He was on Stephen Bartlett's show, and he was a monk, right? And he was talking about um the being a monk himself. So he said masters. He said he came along his journey. He met endless amounts of masters, and he said there's some things that those masters wasn't able to teach him. I'm like, okay, where's he going with this, right? And he was saying that although those masters are masters at what they do, they wasn't able to teach me to master who I am. And I'm like, oh, he's going somewhere. He's going somewhere. And he was saying that everybody has different leverages and skill sets and things that they acquire throughout their lives that make them them. We could be brothers, sisters, siblings, etc. We can live in the same household and just have totally different perspectives on our own experiences, depending on how we perceive things and our perceptions. So what I'm saying is that although we can acquire things along our journey, the only person that's able to maximize their own potential is you with the skill sets that you acquire and how you start to master oneself and how you structure what you already have in order to make it work for you in your life. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, I'm understanding it. So what I'm saying is that everything that we experience in our lives, everything that we acquire, the things that we see, the things that we watch, the things that we hear, the belief systems that we carry, whether it's political, whether it's religious, whatever it is that you attach to oneself. The only way to maximize that is by being familiar with what that thing is and how to leverage it for your better and greater good. How do you okay, if I'm a religious man, how do I maximize me being part of a religious sect or not part of a religious sect? How do I utilize that to work to my best and greater good? What can I do with this found knowledge in this area that will allow me to be better than I was tomorrow? I mean, better than I was the day before. How do I take this knowledge that I have and make it work well for me? And I'm like, ooh, okay, okay. I feel it. I see where you're going. So I started to understand that when you say about master thyself, it's all about learning and growing through some of the things that we experience and being able to put all of these things in a big old pot and utilize them to your leverage, good, bad, or indifferent, the hardships, the victories, the losses, the thought provoking moments, the moments where that serendipity came in where you felt like, oh man, this just happened by accident. And all of a sudden it turned out for my better and greater good at the end. I didn't know that this was going to happen. Things like that happen like they happen for specific reasons. But we got to start putting ourselves in miracle territory for that to happen, meaning that the miracle territory starts here, being able to think. A lot of times we don't have time to think with oneself because we preoccupy with the worldly things that's going on. If you hear in New York, right? Um, it's the New York minute. So everything just feels like there's not enough time in the day. So we just constantly hustling, bustling, and we don't get a chance to take time out to evaluate what's going on, who we are, what do you stand for, what things can you come up with in that time and space? What things do you want to do? Have you ever sat down and mapped out where you trying to go, where you want to go, how you want to get there? How do what things do you want to acquire? It don't have to be materialistic. I'm saying, what type of characteristics do you want to acquire in order to get you to and from? What type of behaviors do you have to carry out or learn in order to be someone of discipline? What does discipline look like? It's okay, not being a reactionary person, being a responder, meaning that, hey, before you make any decision, how about you give yourself 3 to 5 seconds to absorb what's being said, and maybe give yourself maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds to respond. Let you evaluate what's going on in the real in that moment, so you can be able to have a sound decision, a more thought-provoking decision, instead of being more impulsive. I think a lot of our communities are um like held back for making impulsive decisions at times, just being reactionary and not being a responder. I know we see um children that sometimes go down the wrong paths. Mike, what's up, loved one? Sometimes we see children go down the wrong paths, and it's like, well, instead of that personnel picking up a weapon or something and going out to seek to harm somebody, what if you gave, instead of replacing the weapon with a lawnmower, placing that weapon with a shovel in the wintertime to go shovel snow, or putting the book in that person's hand, or giving them something to go out there to help make money, so they don't gotta go out there, rob, steal, kill for their own survival. And I think it's those things what happens when we misdirected with the boredom. We feel like, I gotta do something. It's just being impulsive. But what if we was able to be still? What if we were able to sit and be creative in those moments and say, let me just think for a second. Let me take 5 minutes out of my. Right now, I'm highly stressed for whatever reason. Give myself a few moments to decompress, and let me just think about what's going on right now. No, if I'm able to decompress, that means I'm live or well, and I'm breathing, and that means that there's opportunity that's waiting on the other side of that thought. So if we think through our things, there's so many wonderful things that can come from it, but we never have the opportunity to sit back and think because we're so impulsive. And that's how we are, even as children. These are some things that we do as adults. What happens when we get bored? Like I said, one of my things is your boy get on the net. The boy start to shopping. Or I go to my phone and I start to scrolling. And before you know it, hour pass, 2 hour pass. And I'm like, well, where did the time go? How many things could I have done with that time that was presented to me? That was really the transformational moment. That was really the portal. That was really the time that should have been utilized doing something more than, you know, other than, you know, something that's productive primarily. But if we don't take those moments out, we never know what can come of it. So what I'm saying is that when I look at boredom, when I look at idle time, it could be a major distraction, or it could be a major transformational moment to where so much growth can come from it. So much growth can come from it. And that's what I started to pay attention to. I started to sit with myself more. I started to sit myself more. Sometimes just get in the car. Don't have no set destination, just to clear the mind out of dealing with some of the worldly things. I needed time to me. I was explaining to my stepson about just breaking up his own time and let him know that, hey, no, you have time that you can utilize. Time for yourself, time for family members, time for your video games, time for school. But understand that every time you do one of those things, actually focused on that thing at that very moment. A lot of times we do a thing and we distracted doing something else at the very same time. So we don't never give nothing our full attention. And we wonder why the productivity on the back end is not really showing up the way we intended to show up, because we don't give our full attention to it. So what I was explaining to him, I was telling him, say, hey, when you're in school, whatever hours that you're there, focus on school. When you come home, you want to do the video game for the hour or two, lock in on your video game. When it's time to do that homework for the hour or two, lock in on that homework. When you're down with your family, put the phone away, focus on building that relationship with your family. Communicate, talk, tell how you feel, express yourself. Do those things amongst family. So what I'm just saying is that I have to be a practitioner of that as well. As I learn and grow through my journey, I started to figure out, when I start to isolate some of these times and just focus in the moment on that one thing. Easy, what's up, loved one? I started to, you know, get more done. Jerry Seinfeld said this. He said that in order for him to be a great comedian, what he did was, he said that he used to lock himself in a room for an hour every day. And inside that room, he could do one or two things. He could do nothing or write. That's it. He had an opportunity to do nothing for that hour, just sit in the room in silence or do whatever, just silent, can't do nothing else, just be in the silent or be in silence, or he can sit down and write jokes. He said what happens is, over time, you start to build up a different level of tolerance. That's where our strengths start to come in at, by repetition, by doing the thing over and over and over again. You start to build up tolerance. So when people go to the gym, per se, over time, initially, hey, man, myself included, your boy out of shape, out of pocket. Go to the gym 3 months. Hey, lost a little 5 pounds. Know what I mean? Ain't much, but I see some. Over time. The long story short, I'm gonna give a shout out to my mom, to Mama Love. Mama Love on her journey, doing her thing, and she lost tremendous amount of weight. I love you unconditionally, Mama Love. And she did her thing continuously. She's one of my motivators in the gym, because we started the fasting thing together, getting to the gym, doing the 1-2s, and she constantly trying to figure out ways to lose more weight. And that's one of the things where you say, okay, finding who you can compare yourself to, right? People out there that are doing things that you want to acquire or do in the near future. So when it comes to my health journey, I pay very close attention to my mother, because she knows something for losing the weight that she lost that I don't know. She has a tremendous amount of discipline in areas where I don't have discipline. The boy looking for the cookies and the cakes at times, the ice creams and all that. I don't have the level of discipline. But once I start to acquire that and I keep comparing myself to, then I'll be able to get on that path. So a lot of times when we start doing these things, we can get to where we need to get to if we just zero in and start focusing on, okay, what is the goal? How I want to get there? Who I compare myself to that's acquired that thing? And I feel like all of these things that we can add to what we do, and we just focus on, like just focus in those moments and just do the thing, we get so much further in the areas where we want to learn and grow. And I'm learning. I'm learning that when I do these things, I'm just seeing more of a turnaround. And everybody's experience may be different depending on what you focus on, what you're doing, and how you want to get. Everything. Everything is not one. Is not uh one method solves everybody's problems, right? I'm saying that there's some things that work to your advantage and you can utilize as your own leverage. And the only way you'll be able to discover that is by sitting with oneself. The whole premise of me saying what I'm saying is that get still at times. Practice being still. Try it for 5 minutes. Try it for 10. Find those moments where you're highly stressed and you just feel like, hey, my decision making is a little bit off. Let me just take time out for me. Go take a break from whatever you're doing and just gather oneself. And if you do this more often and you start taking out time for you to do it, you start to discover some things that you never knew about yourself. And that's the real key. You start discovering things that you never knew about you, some gifts, some hidden talents, some thoughts, some ideas, some perspectives. Excuse me. Your boy was under a little bit under the weather. But yeah, but these are some of the things that I love to just bring to our attention and have open forum and discussion about, because I think that these things could give us some insight about who we are as people. Because I think it's a continuum of learning and growing along our journeys. I think that we never stop learning. We never stop growing when we get of age and we become elders and we become X, Y, and Z till the day that we leave this earth. We're going to continue to learn and grow. Jackie Jeff said, don't go to your grave empty. That means that the thoughts, the ideas, the creativity, put it into the ethos, put it into the universe, because somebody be able to track to it. Somebody be able to grab hold onto your thoughts, your ideas, and you're going to be able to enhance and transform that person mindset to a greater one. If you have a great idea and somebody else pick up that great idea and start utilizing it to their leverage. These are some of the things that I love to expound about, because I see them, I experience them, and I'm watching things transform and change around myself, even with me. Even if the physical space isn't changing, I know mentally things are changing up here, because the ideas that's coming to me is new and fresh. And like, oh, I never thought about that before. I never thought about this before. Hey, I didn't see it like that. Although this been in front of me the whole time, I've been overlooking what's right in front of me, and now I can see it clear as day. What's that thing right there? How do I problem solve? Now I'm bigger than the problems. So when I see problems, I don't look at them as problems. I look at them as opportunities. So now I'll be able to turn this one situation into something that could work to my benefit in the near future. Although I know there's something that's happening right now that I don't understand, but that's fine. It all gonna make sense in the end. All I need to do is just embrace what's going on in the moment, hardships included, and understand that this is a prerequisite to get me to where I need to go. This is that story that I'm attach myself to. So when it's time for it, it's gonna show up. Same way like the guy that was what's it called, Slumdog Millionaire. All of the knowledge that he was picking up along his journey, it seemed pointless at the time. It seemed pointless at the time until it led him to the million, led him to be a millionaire, until it led him to be a millionaire. So all of the things that you're picking up right now at this very moment from from your perspectives, from the things you watch, the things you eat, the things you see, the conversations that you have, the people you come in contact with, the lady that you held the door for when she's walking, or the lady help upstairs with the groceries, the older lady, the gentleman that you help walk across the street, the stop and try, whatever you do, all of those things are going to serve you in some way or another. Because even if it's just a thought or a memory that you can recount, that's going to have significance. You could utilize that to your leverage. And that's what's so profound about living and growing and seeing things and having ideas and having your own perspectives. So now you can see, you can bring your thought to a forum, have open dialogue, open for discussion, more or less have impact for another personnel. And that's what we all have when we're able to tap into oneself. And as we just get more comfortable with oneself, we're able to do that. Sometimes we got some of these big old barriers and we just can't fight through them because we had labels attached to us and we thought these labels are true. Some may apply, some may not. Some people told you, what about that label? They said you're not good enough. What about that label? When they say, you know what, you're too small, or you too big, or you too this, or you too that, you just too to their liking. What happens when their liking is not a main proponent to who you are? But if you start having that other label where you start, hey, how do I feel about me? How do I feel about my own mind? How do I feel about this space that I occupy? How do I feel about this, or how I feel about that? Now, those other labels that were hindrance, things that were distracting you, things that were holding you down and putting you in, docile situations and being submissive. What happens? You start feeling out that encouragement. You start feeling like, I could do anything I want to do. Jeff says, I gotta run, but you're doing it, bro. This is my first time tuning in for this long. So I'm very impressed to see you carry the combo solo long. I appreciate you, loved one. That's a real thing. I love you unconditionally, family, and I appreciate that. Absolutely. We tap in, we're gonna tap in soon. I just appreciate you just gracing us with your presence, and tell wifey and the baby is unconditional love, give them nothing but tremendous amount of love. And I appreciate y'all unconditionally, family. And I see you soon. We definitely go tap in, loved one. Big respect, God. Absolutely. God said you got mad content. Absolutely. I appreciate that, family. I appreciate that. to try to retain it, and utilize it in real time. You've been doing the work. Absolutely, God. Thank you, family. We definitely tap in. I know you got to go, family. Do your thing, and we definitely go, tap in. We got the map. We go tap in. Yeah, loved ones. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's those things where we just love to, like, he paying it forward. That's what my brother did, paying forward. His words of encouragement is what's catapulting me to 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 those spaces of I can do it. I can do it because he's someone that's been doing it and still doing it and making major impact. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. But him showing up every day is that's what you got to do. You got to be consistent. You got to be able to do those things. Show up, even when moments where we all know that we have moments where we don't feel like doing the thing, but we show up and do the thing anyway. And that's where growth really happens. That's where growth really happens, in those moments where you don't want to do, you're exhausted, you're tired, you feel like there's no way I can possibly do it. That's where the growth happens. Seth Godin, like he was saying in his book, the guy that wrote The Purple Cow, and he wrote got the other joint. But with Seth Godin, the guy was saying, like, he wrote, like, for 20 years straight, he wrote a blog post every day. That's how consistent that boy was. That's what Seth Godin did. For 20 years straight, he wrote a blog post every day. Never missed a day of writing a blog post. 20 years straight. Crazy. But that's how the levels of consistency. So when I think about my journey of being on 23rd episode, how about put 20 years in consistency? But sometimes that's what it requires. That's what it takes. So it's like, okay, do you got the mindset to continue when it's not popular, when it's not cool? Are you willing to show up for oneself every day? Are you able to do that? We tell ourselves the only way to be consistent is just not quit. There gonna be some moments where you're under the weather. You're gonna be tired. You're gonna be sick. You're gonna be, not feeling in the best conditions. There's some outside worldly things that may transpire. 100 Wave King, what's up, loved one? 100 Wave King in the building. What's up, God? That's Babe Bro right there. Beam on bag money only. Go tap in, go run it up. Go tap in, Babe Bro. Go cop some of that good old merch. Hit him in the DM. You see that drip? That boy, he drippy. The boy stay drippy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what we got to do. Yeah, family. It's been a wonderful, dope, pleasurable experience tonight. I'm just super appreciative. I take these moments out to really give thanks and to show my gratitude, because I know that, um things 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 may not happen the way you want to. Things may not happen the way you want to, right? But I feel that if you Raul, so loved one, it's my brother right there. Me versus me. Oh man, perfect content. Go tap and go run my brother brand up right now. Me versus me. Go tap in. Go tap in immediately. Got some of the drippiest things on the planet too, man. That good cloth fit like a glove, man. I can't wait for the new drop. I'm waiting for it immediately. I need mine ASAP. It's me versus me. That I ain't gonna lie. That brand is so powerful. Me versus me. Can't never say better than that. Me versus me. It's always you versus you. A message from your sponsors. Oh, Lizzie, thank you, love. Let me go to a message from my sponsors. It's been a long one. The boy was in the zone. Get a message from the sponsors. Here we go. 1 second. Peace, beloveds. Thank you for tuning in to the Respectfully Great podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reed, and I appreciate your continuous support. Do you know that over 80% of the people that watch our channel aren't subscribed? By subscribing to our channel, you give us the opportunity to bring on more guests to add more value to our channel. To join our growing community, head over to respectfullygreat.com, sign up for our email list to get exclusive updates on empowering blogs, as well as the latest and greatest in Respectfully Great fashion. Once again, it's nothing but big love, and we value your commitment. Yeah, that was the word from our sponsors. That was great. Respectfully Great in the building. That was super powerful. Go today. Sign up for Respectfully Great at respectfullygreat.com. Shop the latest and greatest in fashion. Sign up to our email list so we'll be able to get some of that good old um, blog posts out there, some innovative thoughts, some things that we got coming in the near future. So much, so much, so much. So we wanted to be able to build up a community and let all of us get fully acclimated with the things that we want to bring to the forefront when it comes to our ideas and how we want to be able to grow our brand and our community. So tap in. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Go to at Respectfully Great on YouTube. If you follow us on YouTube, go sign up today. When you actually subscribe, hit the notification button. Send it out to a friend. Let them know that we are in the building. We are going live every Thursday. Tap in. Give yourself a round of applause. 100 Way King. Absolutely, loved one. Yes, sir. Yeah, baby, bro. Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, this has been a fun episode. It's been super dope. Chat out respectfullygreat.com and be part of the community. Absolutely, Lizzie. Big love. Thank you. I'm super appreciative for everybody that tapped in today. It was a wonderful, great episode. We had so much intrinsic value that we discussed, so many thought-provoking ideas, some of the things that we learned about oneself, some things that we just made them more aware, because some of the things that that we not totally out of the loop with. We experience these things every day. It's all about just taking another perspective about it and saying that, hey, although this is a moment to where it tend to be one of those moments where I can't utilize it to my benefit, but we could change that. We could switch the story. We could change the narrative, and that's what we're doing in these very moments: is telling ourselves the new story. We attaching ourselves to the new story, not the old story. There was one point in time, at a particular time and place, where we did things like that. Today, we have opportunity to do it any way that we desire to do it, any way we want to do it, and I'm super um, appreciative and open to have the space to be able to share these sentiments and ideas around these things. And I know that you guys are doing it in your own lives, because I watch you guys and I watch how you take care of your own business and how you inspire and be motivated, because it motivates me. So that's why I'm able to come on so freely and highlight these things from what you guys do. So it's super commendable for you guys, and I'm super appreciative just to have the space to be able to share these ideas. Also, if you know loved ones that want to come up, want to share their story, got a great story they can add to the community, I would love to have a conversation with them, because the whole premise of us having these dialogues is be able to have this identity, right? What's up, Nick? Hi, Nikki in the building. Be able to share these ideas so we all can learn and grow from. Some things are what we should do, some things we should not do. It's all about your own perspective. I also want to leave with this. I take this from Dr. Ali. Dr. Ali says that if there's anything that I said tonight that that didn't align with your beliefs, or you feel that didn't stick with you, it's okay to leave it alone. If there's things that apply and you say, yo, I like this right here, try it. And then let me know your experience while doing it, because now we get the data, we get the feedback. So now I can say, hey, this worked for me, that didn't work for you, or it did work for you. And we got 4 or 5 other people that is working for. Hey, what did you learn through it? What did you experience? Now we can collect that data and we say, hey, oh, we all found a commonality. Oh, this worked for this reason. Or this had an attachment to this one thing, or it changed how I seen X, Y, and Z. So that data is very important. That data is super important. And the more we be able to share our own sentiments and our own experiences, because we all walk different lives, right? We all experience different things, no matter where you from, no matter what you've done. There's things that you experience that I know I haven't experienced. And sometimes I don't have to go through the thing to learn from it. If you just share your story, I will get all of the information that I need. And that's one less experience that I have to experience. If it's a good or bad one, I just can learn from it and say, hey, if I want to experience that, maybe I can attach myself to X, Y, and Z. If I want to avoid some of those things, you gave me the story on how and why, or things I need to look out for, or I may encounter, and I know how to handle it. Because it's all about problem solving. It's all about being bigger than a problem. Nothing's bigger than you. So if we prepare ourselves to be bigger than the problem by shaping up our mindset, No matter what's going on in our lives, we'll be able to overcome, good, bad, or indifferent, because it's all about perspective. It's all about how we feel about oneself. It's about mastering thyself. It's about taking our own experiences, structuring them in a way that it benefits you, who you are, and your mission and your purpose. And you can shape and mold your purpose and your design from it. You got the ability to do it. You got the ability to impact people's lives so many ways, and you got the power. You got the power. You got the power. So I just wanted to reinforce that. It's been a wonderful show, wonderful experience, and I'm super appreciative and showing gratitude. So it's always going to be nothing but big love, and I love you all. Continue to go out there, killing it, rocking it, doing your 1, 2, and share your stories. If you know people like this, you can share this live. Tell people, go run the numbers up on YouTube, direct them there. Make sure that they like, share, subscribe, and do all those good stuff. Do the thing to do the thing. We are officially out, and I will see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Same time, same place. We'll do our thing respectfully.